Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're new here, I'm Natalie, and in this channel I like to share my financial journey with all of you. So today what we're going to do is actually close out the month of May. I'm an HR professional working for a small tech company from home, thankfully, and I just spent the last, I would say, like 6 to 9 months saving up for a move to a different state, and I recently accomplished that back in the spring. So I now live in North Carolina, and I'm excited to start exploring a little bit more of the state. So yeah, today what we're gonna do is really close everything out. My calendar view, I used to be more detailed with things, and I used to have like all of my daily expenses that I would incur throughout the month shown here, but now I just do that on a Google Sheets tracker, specifically because I always had errors in my math. So I stopped using those stickers. I thought I would continue to use them, but since I don't show it, I just keep it digitally now. So what you're gonna see in this page is really like my bills by dates. So first off, I want to go ahead and close out the month, and the first thing that I'm gonna do, actually typically leave this for last, but I sometimes forget if I don't do it at the beginning. So my first goal for May was really to continue to be consistent with my diet. So I have made a change to making sure that I'm having a lot more protein and a lot of more vegetables and fruits. I also wanted to eat less carbs, and that's worked really well for me, actually. I've noticed that even when I go grocery shopping nowadays, granted it is more expensive because I'm not eating things that are pre-made or frozen as much as before, eating more fresh items with my meals. Another goal that I had was to lower my soda intake, and in May I was really good about this. I would say specifically towards the beginning of the month, and this started like in April, but towards the beginning of the month I was really good about like lowering my soda intake to like once a day. I think I did pretty good with that, probably not as strictly as I would have expected, but that was, I would say, a goal accomplished. My second goal was to pay off my car loan, and this is a spoiler, but I literally just yesterday paid off the last bit of it, and I am just so happy to be done with it. I am officially consumer debt free, except for my third goal was to start a nonfiction book, and that's not something I did at all. That's a goal that we're gonna have for June as well. I just didn't get around to it. I spent more time in Florida than I was expecting, and I was in a reading rut for a few days, and then I found this new author that I'm not obsessed, but I'm the type of person that loves to like read full series like right away. Like I love when I find an author that I've never heard of before and 4, 5, 6, 7 books. So that's where my time has been spent the last several weeks. And then I wanted to walk outside more. I was better about this towards the beginning of the month again. Once I went back home, it was a lot harder for me, so I'm just not gonna take that as a goal that was accomplished, so that'll be something for June as well. And then I wanted to start incorporating my gym sessions. No, this didn't happen at all. I wanted to start going to the gym once a week and actually working on weights, and then actually doing a body weight video at home from YouTube. I didn't do that even once. My sixth goal was to stick to my morning and night routines. I think I did really well with this one. So I'm really excited because I need to make sure that I continue that throughout June as well. Then one other thing that I wanted to do was to explore a new town in North Carolina and one new town in Florida. I couldn't do that in Florida. Time just was too busy with all of the appointments I had. I had a lot of follow-up appointments that I didn't think I was going to do, but I did end up going to Davidson, North Carolina, that area, and I went to their downtown, spent like an afternoon there with my best friend, and that was so beautiful. Loved all of the little shops that they had. They had bookstores and coffee shops, and I'm a sucker for home decor, and I found my new favorite like scent for the home. They have like diffuser oils and candles and room sprays, and it's a local business, so I am so in love. I can't wait to go back and like explore more, because as I was driving out of the little like downtown area in Davidson, I noticed that there were like 4 more home decor stores that I didn't realize were there, because they were a little bit farther out from like the middle of the downtown area. So I can't wait to go back, because I can totally see myself spending like a morning just grabbing coffee and a pastry and just like going through all the shops and then exploring like the new ones that I didn't get a chance to see. So I did do it halfway, I guess. And then I wanted to try to stay under budget in at least 2 categories of my variable expenses. So we're gonna see if that happened. So that leads me into my monthly budget, and I actually have to put my iPad under because I otherwise cannot write on this side of the planner. So when it comes to my budget, it was a very expensive month. I had a lot of things that I needed to do, as I've mentioned in my previous videos. If you saw them, if you didn't, I went to Florida, and the reason I was going to go in the first place was because I was going to go see Bad Bunny. I had bought those tickets before I decided to move to North Carolina in the spring. I initially thought I was going to move in the fall. Either way, if he does a concert, 9 times out of 10, I'm not going to not go to the one in Orlando, because there's a big Puerto Rican population. I'm Puerto Rican, and the concerts are better. That's just how it is. I would love to go to the one in Puerto Rico, but it just does not happen for me ever. So that was the main reason why I went to Orlando. That actually triggered a lot of different things that I wanted to do. So I had scheduled nail appointment, hair appointment, doctor's appointment, a vet appointment for my dog, and a dentist appointment. I was able to go to my medical, dental, nail, and the vet. My girl that does my hair unfortunately got sick while I was there, and I even extended my trip a few extra days just in case she got better, but whatever she had, it was really bad. So I couldn't see her. So I didn't get my hair done, which was kind of a blessing to be honest, because like I said, this month was an expensive month. With all of that said, let's just get into the numbers. So with my salary, I actually ended up getting a little sort of like culture award, and like I got a physical award in the mail, but also they have a little stipend that they add to those people that win those awards. My second paycheck of the month actually ended up being higher than what I thought. So instead of $6,900, I actually ended up getting $7,100. So $7,101 with 65 cents is what my salary was. And as you guys know, I was closing out my savings for North Carolina because I finally ran all of the numbers through, paid everything that I needed to pay, made sure that there wasn't anything missing anywhere. So I was transferring an amount. I just didn't know how much at the time of me setting up this budget, but once paycheck, I think it was number 1. Once I did my paycheck number 1 budget, I was able to figure that out. So that was a total of $4,400 left over from my paycheck, or from my savings, so that I have $11,501. However, if you saw my paycheck number 2 budget, you know that while I was in Florida, me and my parents decided that we're all gonna go as a family to Puerto Rico, and we haven't had a family trip where we all go together in pretty much years. I actually don't remember when was the last time we did that. So we're gonna go, and we bought tickets right then and there. I myself had my round trip ticket from Orlando to San Juan for free. I only had to pay the taxes on the actual flight, so that was like $5 and some change. I was helping out my family and I did add their flight into a credit card. It was about almost $900 for the round trip for all three of them, and my brother and my stepdad actually sent me their portions of the money. So that was an extra $641 that I'm adding to my budget, though I wouldn't typically do this. So there's a reason why I ended up doing this, and if you saw my paycheck number 2 budget, you know why. But I added it sort of as a miscellaneous line item. So when I add that, my total is $12,142 with 65 cents. It's what we have to work with this month. And looking at my fixed expenses, everything is good except that I actually canceled my Canva account before it came out. So what I'm gonna do is just highlight in pink this amount because I didn't actually end up having to pay for that. And then if you saw my paycheck number 2 budget, you also know that I didn't pay down my car loan until towards the end of the month. So I actually had to make a regular minimum payment when the date came. So I did actually have to have my Mazda as a bill for the month. So that was on the 24th. And now I finally know when my internet is due as well. So the total here was $198.17. So if I take this full amount minus $14.99 plus $298.17, my actual total of fixed expenses is $2,985 with 98 cents. And then I decided to cancel Canva. Honestly, I don't miss the premium aspect of it. As of May, I also don't have Max anymore because the deal was running out. That's how much my fixed expenses were. For groceries, so if I look at my groceries for paycheck 1 was $41.68. And then my groceries for paycheck number 2 was $178.32. So that means that was a total of $220, which actually is not too bad. So I am in the negative here by $20. Then for gas and tolls, I estimated $200. And in the first half of the month, I spent 132 cents. And then in the second half of the month, I actually spent 202 with 62 cents. And honestly, gas was expensive, but also I forgot how many tolls I used to, I didn't forget how many tolls I used to take, but I didn't think I was going to take that many tolls while I was visiting. So that is a negative 102 with 94 cents. For household, I budgeted 100, and that was, I spent 670 on paycheck number 1 and 0 on paycheck number 2. So that's great. That means that I am in the positive for $93.30. For shopping, I budgeted 300 and I definitely went over by a lot. So shopping in the first paycheck, I actually ended up doing 308 with 58 cents. And in the second paycheck, I did $14.91. Okay, never mind. So I think I'm confusing this with clothing, probably. So I ended up spending $323.49, which is a negative of $23.49. Then for eating out, I also underestimated the amount of times I would be out and about with friends. So the first half of the month, I spent $412 with 92 cents. And then in the second half of the month, I spent $227.44. So that was a total of $640 and 36 cents. So $250 minus $640, 36. That's negative $390 with 36. For beauty, I budgeted $75. I spent $460.63 in the first paycheck, and then $93.75 in the second paycheck. So that was a total of $554 with 38 cents. So that is negative $479. And if you saw my paychecks budgets, you know that I did get a facial. With the facial, that was like 150 or 175. I can't really remember off the top of my head. I also got products, refills on certain things that I typically get from them. And then I was also recommended these like face masks if I'm not gonna continuously and regularly do my facials like I used to, because I have seen my skin deteriorate a bit since I haven't been going to the esthetician. So she recommended these face masks that I can do twice a week or once a week, and those alone were 150, and she didn't tell me the price before I said yes. That was on me. But I know I'm only gonna get a facial like at the most 2 to 3 times a year moving forward, versus before I used to go at least 6 times a year. So in my mind, this should still save me some money if I'm using it, which I haven't yet, but we'll see if I like it. And if not, then I guess I need to find something else. But I'm in a skincare kick for sure. And I haven't been in a makeup kick in a long time. I've been decluttering my makeup collection for years at this point, and every time I would see something, I would just like give it away to family and friends. And now I'm back in a makeup mindset, and I'm trying to hold on, but there's a lot of items that I would love to try. And yeah, so let's hope that that doesn't become an obsession again. Anyways, so negative 479 in beauty, so that's great. And for clothing, I budgeted 200 and I spent 310 with 82 cents in the first paycheck, and then I spent 603 with 82 cents in the second paycheck. To be fair, I haven't bought not nicer clothes, but like cute clothes in a while. I have been really living life very casually. Got clothes, got shoes, pretty much everything. So that was a difference of 714. For my sinking funds, I actually didn't add this into like a fund per se. I was cash flowing most of my sinking funds because I don't have anything in them. So the first paycheck I did 80.27 in expenses, and this was literally just for my dog's grooming. And then the second time was for her vet appointment. And I had estimated that this was around the amount of money that it would be, so this is not surprising. And then that was a total of 639.69 minus 350, that is 289.69. Then for unbudgeted, in the first paycheck I didn't have anything, and then if you saw this past video, I had $936.68 on that. So this amount was literally full on maintenance for my car. So I have new brakes, they took out the breaker fluid, did alignment on my tires, and I don't even know what half of the things are, to be honest, but also did something about the rotaries. I don't know, it has something to do with brakes, not a car per se. So yeah, so basically this is a full tune-up. My car fully good to go because I also got tires back in the fall of last year. The only thing is I don't know that they're gonna last as long since I'm driving. Lots of negative numbers here. So my goal of being under budget in 2 categories was not a win, so we're gonna consider that halfway there. So when I add all of this up, I actually spent $4,538 with 88 cents, and I'm not even gonna add that up. So as I said, very expensive month, but thankfully I did have a higher than normal income. Let's close this out and see what we're left with. So my actual was 12,142.65 minus 2,985.98 minus 4,538.88 minus 3,200, which is the first paycheck, minus 1,163.42. That was the remainder of it. So 3,200 plus 1,163.42. I sent 4,363 with 42 cents to my Mazda. And in reality, the only way I was able to do this is because I did keep that amount sort of as an income for this month. Obviously, before this payment is due in June, I'm gonna pay that off fully, even if my mom hasn't sent me her portion of the ticket. So let's see, how much did I have left? Minus 2985.98 minus 4538 88 minus 4636 4363 42 254.37. If I look at my rollover, that actually adds up. So minus 116.08 from paycheck number 2. I actually need to add my oil change in here as well. So I'm just gonna do oil change here. That was $58.45 because I actually added it as a line item in my paycheck breakdown, and then I didn't add it into the variable expenses after. So that makes sense. Again, 12,142.65 minus 2,985.98 minus 4538.88 minus 3,200 minus 116.42 minus 58.45. So that means that I have a rollover of 195.92. And if I look at the full amount of income that I had and divided by the amount of debt that I had paid off, almost 36% of what I brought in was sent to debt, which is good. I do love to do my debt trackers. I'm gonna set everything up in terms of the numbers and go over it real quick. So for my consumer debt, as you guys know, I started off with PayPal credit line, a Best Buy credit card, and then I had my JetBlue card. Sometimes, I mean, even now, it still sometimes has a small balance on it, but I basically was tackling PayPal and Best Buy first, and then my Mazda. So on the 24th, I'm gonna start with the consumer debt as always. My Mazda at the beginning of the month was whatever it was here. So I had $4,654.19 at the beginning of the month. Okay, so this is what my debt tracker looks like now. My last consumer debt that at least that I'm considering consumer debt, is my Mazda car loan at the beginning of the month. It was $4,654 with 19 cents. My minimum payment was $298.17, and my interest was 3.05. So at the end of the month, so my additional payment ended up being $4,363 with 42 cents to completely pay it off. Then for my student loans, I just did the minimum payment here. So my balance after that was $18,171 with 79 cents. And then for my home loan, I $279,044.32 with the minimum payment. I ended up having a balance of $278,766 with 8 cents. So that means first consumer debt, then I have consumer debt with my student loans, and then consumer debt with the student loans and with the home loan. So 0. And that means that my debt went down $4,654 with 19 cents, with my Mazda being paid off in full. Then my debt remaining with my student loans is just the balance of the student loans. So that means that this plus whatever the difference between this and this was, so 337.56 minus 18,171.79 So that was the $165.77 was paid off with my minimum payment. Yeah, about $40 went to interest. So $165.77 plus $4,654 with 19 cents. That means that went down in total $4,819 with 96. Oh my god, that's horrible. And then for my student loans, of course, we're adding $278,766.08 plus $18,171.79. My total now is $296,937.87, which means that I'm under the 300 mark finally, because I was just shy last time. So that means that my debt went down. Let's see. So 279,044.32 minus 278, 766.08. Oh my god, my home loan went down less than $300. That's wild. So 278 plus the 4,819 with 96 cents. Overall, my debt went down $5,098.20 in the month of May, which is crazy. I am officially consumer debt free. Done it once before, right before I bought this car and right before I decided to start saving for a home loan, which is wild to think. I never thought, who would have thought that like I could have done this in like the span of 2.5 years. I am so proud of myself for sticking with it. Obviously, I had some great things happen in April and May when it comes to like my bonuses at work and everything like that. So this is 110% thanks to that. I would definitely have had a longer time paying this off, probably at least till the end of the year. But this, I mean, it's made such a huge difference. And now I can officially say that I'm back to where I was in 2020 except I have a home loan for a house that I don't think I'm gonna keep long term, so we can omit that. So basically, I'm looking at my student loan. So yeah, I'm so glad that that was the case. So when it comes to this part, which another place that I always forget to fill out is this actually. Let me do that real quick. I think for my credit score, I actually hit a new high, which I'm so glad. I ended up getting up to 826 because I think 823 was my last high. Yeah, in April, my last high was 823. I've never been in the 800 club because I did a lot of stupid things when I was younger. So this is me hitting that 800 credit score. My savings have stayed like that. I think I talked about that in my last video. Yes, I took part of what was left in my savings for my North Carolina move, and I beefed up my emergency fund. And then this is gonna look very different in the next few months. Actually, go over like my highs and lows for the month. So I think my highs for sure was visiting Florida, having my bestie fly in, and then of course my multiple concerts of Bad Bunny. So those were definitely my highs. Well, now that I'm looking back at it, also like paying off my car. My lows, and with that I would say like getting recognized at work for my projects that I had been working on, and of course culturally with that extra award that I received. When it comes to lows, I would probably say, especially when I came back from Florida, I think I was feeling a little bit homesick. I think it made me look at things differently because obviously it's the first time that I go back home, stay for kind of an extended time really, because I spent the full 10 days back to where I've lived for 15 years. So I was a little bit of a little bit homesick. And then another low for me is probably the fact that a really good friend of mine, I've realized that I can be a really close friend with her and her circle of friends, and I can interact with her and the people that she surrounds herself with. But I've always known this, but it became very clear and apparent that I'm one of her closest friends, and it's very much a possessive thing where, like, even though she doesn't outwardly show, she does it by not being nice to the people that I bring into my circle. I can be her friend and I can be very nice to the friends that she brings along, and I can even become friends with some of those people that she brings along, and I can be cordial and respectful and, you know, very inclusive of those friends that she brings up into different interactions that we have. But she can't do the same for me, so that was a little bit disappointing. And anyways, that's just going into a tangent. But I would say my I shouldn't say friendships, one friendship and specifically clear, I don't want to say boundary, but it's like a clear divide between my friends and her friends, I guess. So that was a little bit unfortunate, and I should have known because it's happened before, but I was kind of being hopeful given that we are now in our 30s, and I don't know, I just think it's silly to act that way. But that's a conversation that I need to have with that person eventually. Anyways, I feel like I've talked so much in this video, and I've shared probably more than I've ever shared regarding other aspects of my life. But I know this is going to 110% be very much a long video, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. I don't expect incomes like this high moving forward. I think tapped out in bonuses, at least from work, which is the only way I would get a bonus. But anyways, I hope you had a lovely May, and I'm really excited for the next half of the year. I know that we're going into June and I'm already thinking it's halfway done, but we still need to like wait until June is done to like start thinking of literally it being the middle of the year. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.